Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It is, as you can tell, a Pittsburgh Steelers Thursday. Today, obviously, we are playing the Thursday night game. Tonight, the 7-5 Pittsburgh Steelers are going up against the 2-10 New England Patriots. Hoping, I have not done the research into this, but I'm hoping that we are not going to become the first team, or at least, if not a team, that loses to 2-10 teams in back-to-back weeks, because that is what we would be on course for if we lost tonight. However, just as we usually do, even though it's a Thursday night, we're going to start with what we usually do. And I think mainly because it's a Thursday night game, obviously short week, not everyone's had a full chance to get back healthy. I think it is important to go through the injury report. So on the Steelers side, Kenny Pickett is out. We all knew that. Najee Harris is questionable. Obviously a bit of a concern given how well the running game has done so far. So again, if he's not 100%, then what's that going to do? Quarterback James Pierre is out. Landon Roberts is questionable. Again, we sort of expected that after what happened this past weekend. Perhaps most concerning is that centre Mason Cole and Isaac Seumalo, the guard, are both listed as questionable with various injuries. And again, back to what I was saying about Najee Harris, given the improvements that the run game has made, the fact that now we're going to have to do this without, a line at 100%, and the fact we've got to deal with a new quarterback at less than 100% as well, we know with the O-line at less than 100%, still a little bit of a concern for me. On the New England Patriots side, a lot more injuries on their end. Let's see, Keyshawn Boot, I hope I pronounced that right. Wide receiver is out. Wide receiver Demario Douglas is out. Ramondre Stevenson is out, and then number one running back. That's good for us. Quarterback Sean Wade is out with an illness. Christian Barmore, defensive lineman, is questionable. Offensive lineman Trent Brown is questionable. Devontae Parker is questionable. He's a wide receiver. Offensive lineman Riley Reef is out with a knee. And on the touching on what happened with James Conner last week when he came back to Pittsburgh, wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster is questionable with an ankle. So obviously we expect Thursday night a little bit more beaten up in terms of player availability because you didn't have those extra couple of days to recover. But I will go in and say this: I am very worried about this game tonight because I would have been worried even if we'd have won against Arizona. Taking the result out of it, if you just look at the injuries and you look at what the New England Patriots have been doing, because whilst they are 2-10, you cannot put that on. You cannot put that on their defense. They've given up so few points in the past couple of weeks. It's quite frankly incredible that they're in the stage that they're at. And when you have a struggling offense in what the Pittsburgh Steelers have normally, and then you've got as I said, Mitchell Trubisky, who's you could argue whether or not he's a better quarterback, but the fact where Najee Harris, main running back, is not fully healthy, or doesn't appear to be, and two offensive linemen are not fully healthy as well. It just kind of gives you that, what kind of damage is that offense going to do? Something that has held us back all season long. Whether, again, as I've said, some of it's on Kenny Pickett, some of it's on Matt Canada, some of it's on Mike Tomlin, some of it's on the players, whatever. The fact is we are still going to be going into tonight's game in a worse position, I feel, than we have previously. So if this bad offense comes up against this New England Patriots defense, then all those memes that I'm pretty sure everyone has seen of how bad Thursday night football has been, and now this is like the final death knell that we're getting Mitch Trubisky against Bailey Zappi and the two bad offenses with the Steelers, whether or not they're going to cover, both teams are going to cover the over-under, which is 30 for tonight, last time I checked. All those memes, there is a very, very good chance it is going to come true. Because, again, you'd like to think that both defenses will dominate this game. Again, the New England Patriots offense is not that great either. So you think, what's the offensive line going to do when it has to deal with TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith? And if Bailey Zappi is inconsistent, then what's going to happen if he makes an errant pass and Minka Fitzpatrick picks him off? This is going to be a struggle. This is going to be a terrible, terrible game. I think. As much as I don't want to say it, and as someone who has always been a proponent of Thursday night football, it's not always that bad. People will always tune in to watch. I would not blame anyone, and I will not blame the rates if the blames reflect this. That this is like the worst Thursday night football that we've seen in a while, just because of the product that looks as if it's going to be put on the field. But down to the sort of X's and O's of it, as it were. Again, it sort of comes back to what I've been saying over the course of the season. I'm not saying I don't mind if we lose tonight. Of course I don't, because, again, the embarrassment of losing twice to 2-10 teams in a row would be an embarrassment. I think would sort of, I'm not saying tick me over the edge, but would give me enough credit to understand at least, well, I do understand, but give me more believability in the whole Mike Tomlin should go. Because if you lose to 2-10 teams back-to-back weeks. Again, regardless of what situation you are in yourself, unless you're like the 0-16 Lions or whatever, or the 0-16 Browns, in that situation. But you are a team that's contending for the playoffs. If you lose twice to 2-10 teams in a row, that kind of does indicate that maybe you are coming to the end of the road if you can't get your team motivated enough or whatever to get through two of those games. You could excuse one. Again, with the delays, with the injuries and everything and messed up rhythm, everything of Sunday. If you want to use that as an excuse, fine. I don't, but if you want to, fine. You can use that one. There's no way you can get away with two. And I think this, we kind of need a win like this to give ourselves some form of hope. Again, the hope is that our offense is better than their offense, and we can put up, again, 21 points or whatever. And then their offense struggles or whatever. And again, just give us some more confidence moving forward. That is the main hope. That, again, back to what I've been saying, it's development, it's moving forward. Again, that's not going to be from the Kenny Pickett side, but as a team, let's hope we can move forward at least. But yeah, down to the X's and O's. I think what's really going to come down to this is whether or not we can stop the New England Patriots running game. Because whilst they do have Ramondre Stevenson out, they do have a couple of other decent running men. Now, I'm still one of those people that say, I wouldn't have minded the Steelers signing Ezekiel Elliott this season as a depth back. I do think he still has something to offer. I don't think he's a number one back yet. No, back to being a number one running back yet. But I think there is something that he can offer. And again, coming up against him does slightly worry me. That if this could be the game that he announces himself back to the world and saying, right, I'm back and whatever. So there is every chance that we could do that. Again, maybe it's just the pessimist in me that is saying this after being let down by the Arizona game. Maybe it's just that. But there was just something that comes to my mind of if we can't stop Ezekiel Elliott, who also is good but has had his struggles, if we can't stop him, then what really is the point? I think that's probably the easiest way to say it. What is the point if we can't even stop someone like Ezekiel Elliott? So, yeah, but on the Mitch Trubisky side, you've heard what his comments were. He wants to take care of the ball and he wants to be aggressive. Some I think is something of an oxymoron, but I do think, at least we are going to see a little bit more aggression on that offense. It's not always going to be these constant check downs and screen passes and jet sweeps and everything. We saw a couple of them with Kenny Pickett, that long throw down to George Pickens early in the game against the Cardinals. So we do have it in our pocket, but now with Mitchell Trubisky, maybe he's going to again take a few more risks, which again I'll take. If there's an interception in there, which we know is Kenny Pickett's thing that he always avoided. If there's an interception in there, then fine. If it's met with 2 or 3 touchdowns on the other end, which I think, with the wide receiver core that we have, and he's only had 2 or 3 days to work with him and get the back into rhythm and everything, and be in tune with him. I think there is a chance for us to make some big plays in there, and if we just make a couple of them, and just make enough of them, and really, let's get back to that 400 yards and let's have 300 of them on through the air. Why not? Let's do it. I would much rather us try and do that, and come up short in occasions and have to punt occasionally because we didn't convert third down because we went deep. I'm okay with that, so long as you give us again something to excite us. Let's just put it that way. If you give us something to excite us and actually not turn it into the terrible game that we imagine that Thursday night could be, then that's all. Then that's it. Just give us that and a win. That's all I ask for. In terms of a score, though, as much as I want it, I just don't see it happening. Again, I just think these are 2 very good defenses and 2 very, very bad offenses. So that's going to come to play. I would not be at all surprised if we get a repeat of the Kansas City Chiefs playoff game from a couple of years ago when all we scored were field goals. I wouldn't be surprised. But with that being said, I'll go with a 15-10 Pittsburgh Steelers victory. Again, I don't quite know how we'll get the 15. Maybe there's a safety in there. I don't know. It's possible, but 15-10 is going to be a low scoring game. I just hope that anyone who's going tonight is wrapping up warm, because to have to sit through that and be cold at the same time, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So yeah, 15-10. Let's go Steelers.